An Oakland resident has been going around, showing up at crime scenes and then sharing the stories with the world.
How does a city go from being the heart of the beautiful Bay Area to being one of the most dangerous places in America? Oakland, California was once a promising city with a lot of potential, but it got ruined. What happened? Today we're doing a deep dive into it. Welcome back to Explore the World. In this video, we'll touch on the pivotal events and critical missteps that have led to Oakland's ruin and where it's at right now. What turned this thriving metropolis into a sad tale of urban decline? Oakland's story has some puzzling contrasts. Join us as we talk about the issues that resulted from its decline. This is a story you won't want to miss. It's important to have a baseline, so let's talk about Oakland before it got ruined. It was a city of great promise and great potential. It was established in the mid-19th century and quickly became a major transportation hub following the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869, connecting the city to national trade routes and spurring economic growth. By the turn of the century, it had transformed into an industrial powerhouse with thriving shipyards, canneries, and manufacturing plants that attracted a diverse workforce from other states across the U.S. Oakland's resilience was evident after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, when many displaced San Francisco residents relocated to Oakland, contributing to its rapid population growth and infrastructural development. During World War II, Oakland shipyards and military bases became super important to the war effort, further boosting its economy and solidifying its status as a vibrant industrial center. Even after the war, Oakland continued to thrive economically, with a bustling downtown and a strong sense of community. The city's diverse population and cultural richness made it a unique and dynamic place to live. However, underlying social tensions and economic disparities began to surface, setting the stage for challenges that would later contribute to its decline. The decline of Oakland began with a series of economic and social challenges that emerged in the mid-20th century. After World War II, the city started to see significant deindustrialization, leading to job losses and increased poverty. This economic downturn was compounded by rising housing costs, making it difficult for lower-income residents to afford a home. The urban renewal projects of the 1960s and 70s displaced many Black American residents. In the 1980s and 1990s, the crack epidemic further destabilized neighborhoods, fueling crime and violence. The 1989 La Prieta earthquake caused extensive damage to Oakland's infrastructure, hindering economic recovery efforts. The Great Recession of 2008 and the COVID-19 pandemic added to these long-standing issues, leading to business closures and increased homelessness. The lack of affordable housing and rising living costs have driven long-term residents out of the city, perpetuating economic and social decline. These historical factors have set the stage for the numerous issues Oakland faces today. Let's now talk about the major issues that Oakland is grappling with in the present day, starting with number 8. Street safety and beautification issues. Oakland city streets are unsafe and ugly. Last March, Gavin Newsom proposed a 10-point action plan in an effort to tackle issues with street safety and beautification. It will enhance public safety and improve the city's aesthetic appeal through a variety of measures. These include installing security cameras, intensifying maintenance efforts, conducting cleanups, increasing litter abatement, addressing encampment issues, and focusing on landscaping projects. By improving street conditions and public spaces, the plan will hopefully reduce crime and encourage community pride. Local hiring events and community outreach initiatives are also parts of this multifaceted approach. The goal is to engage residents in the revitalization efforts, but whether or not it'll work, nobody knows. The consensus is Oakland will require an even bigger strategy to address its deeper systemic issues. Number 7. Business retention and employee safety. The closure of businesses in Oakland due to safety concerns is a troubling sign of wider economic and public safety issues. High crime rates and the perception of danger have led many businesses, from small local shops to major retailers like Walmart, to shut their doors or reduce their hours. This trend affects the local economy and leads to significant job losses, compounding the city's economic problems. In response, business owners have been forced to implement heightened security measures to protect their employees and properties. For instance, Clorox has had to hire additional security personnel to ensure the safety of its workers. These safety concerns have a ripple effect, deterring new investments and pushing existing businesses to relocate to safer areas, further weakening Oakland's economic base. As mentioned earlier, Governor Gavin Newsom's 10-point action plan aims to address some of these challenges by improving street safety, but more comprehensive efforts are needed to restore business confidence fully. Number 6. Oakland Police organizational issues. Inefficiencies and strategic missteps within the Oakland Police have significantly worsened the city's crime rates. A critical issue is the lack of a permanent police chief, which has led to inconsistent leadership and fluctuating enforcement strategies. This instability has undermined public safety efforts and diminished the department's effectiveness. The creation of the Violent Crime Operations Center, intended to focus on solving crimes, inadvertently weakened the successful ceasefire program, which had previously reduced gun violence through community engagement and prevention strategies. The shift in focus from prevention to solving crimes resulted in lower clearance rates for homicides and other serious offenses, dropping from 50% in 2020 to 35% in 2022. Moreover, the department has struggled with communication and coordination issues, particularly in its shooting review meetings, which are necessary for planning interventions and preventing retaliatory violence. The diminished effectiveness of these meetings has further hampered the OPD's ability to respond proactively to crime trends. These organizational challenges, coupled with a shortage of officers and declining public trust, have left the OPD ill-equipped to address Oakland's escalating crime problem. Number 5. Housing crisis. Oakland, California's affordability crisis has drastically limited the ability of working-class people to live there, leading to broader socio-economic implications. Just look at the median home price in Oakland. It's substantially higher than the national average, with Redfin reporting a median home sale price of over $895,000 as of June 2024. The result of this prohibitive housing cost? Many long-term residents were forced to seek more affordable living conditions elsewhere. Rental prices in Oakland are also unrealistically high. It makes the affordability crisis even worse. According to Rent Cafe, the cost of living in Oakland is 44% higher than the national average, with housing being 98% more expensive. This has contributed to a growing homeless population, as many residents cannot keep up with the rising costs. This crisis also impacts the city's economic diversity, pushing out lower-income families and working-class individuals who are vital to the community's fabric. This displacement impacts those directly forced to leave and, at the same time, has a ripple effect on local businesses and services that rely on a diverse customer base. Number 4. Economic struggles. Oakland's economic challenges are significant. The high office vacancy rate, which stood at 36% as of July 2023, highlights the decline in commercial activity. This dramatic increase from a low pre-pandemic rate of 10% has negatively impacted local businesses that rely on office worker patronage, consequently reduced the city's tax revenues. Additionally, Oakland is grappling with a substantial budget deficit. At the end of 2023, the city faced a deficit of approximately $54 million, with projections indicating it could rise by another $29 million in the first quarter of the next fiscal year. This financial shortfall is primarily due to decreased revenues from sources like property and hotel taxes, which have not met projected levels. In March 2024, Oakland officials warned of a continued budget shortfall of $177 million, citing ongoing economic pressures and inadequate recovery from the pandemic's financial impacts. These economic difficulties have far-reaching consequences, including job losses and strained public services. Many local businesses have suffered due to lower revenues, which led to even higher unemployment. The budget deficit also limits Oakland's ability to invest in essential services and infrastructure improvement, not to mention it worsens challenges faced by residents. Number 3. Drug crisis. There's a drug crisis in Oakland that involves methamphetamine and opioids, and it has severe repercussions on public health and safety. Meth is the second most common drug on the streets after opioids, and both substances contribute significantly to the number of overdose deaths in the city. In 2021, Alameda County, where Oakland is located, saw meth-related deaths increase dramatically from 1.7 deaths per 100,000 residents in 2017 to 6.3 deaths per 100,000 in 2021. Simply put, that is alarming. The crisis is even more impactful for homeless people because they tend to resort to drugs like meth to cope with their problems. This has led to a higher incidence of overdoses and related health issues within this vulnerable group. Black residents are disproportionately affected, with overdose rates significantly higher than those of other racial groups in the area. There have been efforts to address this crisis, increased funding for drug treatment programs, initiatives aimed at reducing drug-related harm, etc., etc. But the scale of the problem requires more comprehensive strategies to address the root causes of addiction, including mental health issues and even bigger, homelessness, which we'll talk about next. Number 2. Homelessness. Homelessness isn't uncommon in California, but in Oakland, it has reached alarming levels, with significant increases over the past decade. The city is home to about half of Alameda County's homeless population, and between 2019 and 2022 alone, homelessness increased by 24%. This surge is driven by a lack of affordable housing, economic inequality, and systemic issues like racial disparities. Efforts to manage and reduce homelessness have faced numerous challenges. Large encampments, such as the Wood Street encampment, have been difficult to address effectively. Despite city efforts to provide more shelter beds and services, the growth of homelessness has outpaced these maneuvers. The city spent around $70 million over 3 years on programs to transition homeless individuals into long-term housing, but the effectiveness of these programs has been questioned. Additionally, many residents living in encampments are reluctant to move to city shelters due to restrictions and fear of losing their belongings. This has led to tensions between city officials and homeless advocates, complicating efforts to find sustainable solutions. Number 1. High crime rates. And finally, let's talk about Oakland, California's high crime rates. The biggest problem the city is facing, it significantly impacts all aspects of life in the city. Violent crimes are particularly prevalent. These higher crime rates deter businesses, contribute to economic struggles, and lead to job losses. The Oakland Police Department's challenges, including leadership instability and resource constraints, further complicate efforts to combat crime effectively. There is currently no significant intervention, so these high crime rates continue to affect Oakland's social and economic fabric, causing a vicious cycle of decline and instability. And that's all that we have for you today. Oakland faces several challenges: high crime rates, homelessness, and economic struggles, just to name a few. These are urban challenges that are all interconnected and have been heavily impacting the city's quality of life and economic stability. Oakland continues to grapple with these problems, and who knows how long they'll be at it. If you enjoyed this video, we've got insights into other cities with urban challenges. Check out our video, How Bad is New York Since the Immigration Crisis, for more. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more of these videos. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.